Today we got a question from Brennan, who finds himself scrolling a bit too much online, and he says that he comes across some technique videos periodically that he would like to use for his jiu-jitsu training. These are those short videos that are like 30 seconds to 60 seconds, whatever. So he wants to use them for his jiu-jitsu training, but he says that he just, for the most part, doesn't, right? He'll save them in a folder and like, I'll get around to them later, never does. So he sends me the message and says that he's a blue belt. He finally has the ability to, kind of play on the proverbial buffet line that I talk about in jiu-jitsu, where you can just try stuff out and he can use new techniques on the white belts as practice. And he says, is there any best tips that I have on how to make the best use of all these different techniques he comes across online for his jiu-jitsu training? So Brennan, thanks for the question, bro. So you're asking about the short form videos, like 30 second, 60 second, whatever videos, and how to study those for your jiu-jitsu. So check this out, bro. You asked for my opinion, so I'll give it to you. I wouldn't waste your time doing it, right? I wouldn't waste your time trying to study jiu-jitsu in 30 second and 60 second clips, right? I had this exact conversation with some people in Costa Rica this past week at one of my camps, and I made the comparison of potato chips versus steak, right? So think of potato chips. Potato chips are a highly engineered, highly palatable food, if you want to consider it food, right? Where everything about that food is basically engineered to do one thing and one thing only, to get you to eat more, to get you to consume more. This is why the slogans of the bags, right? Like, what is it? Pringles was, once you pop, can't stop. Lay's is, I bet you can't just have just one, right? So they know you're going to overconsume because of the way they've created them. It was done on purpose, right? Get you to eat more and more and more. And if you're like most people, you've probably eaten too many potato chips at some point, maybe even an entire bag or package, and think about how you feel afterwards, right? You don't feel great. You kind of feel gross because you ate the bag, maybe even sick. And then you also feel kind of hungry. You're not satisfied. You're not satiated. Now, compare that to steak. And any of the vegetarians, if you don't like steak or you don't eat meat, whatever, that's fine. Replace it with a different whole food. But I'm using steak right now. Think of a steak meal with maybe steak, potatoes, maybe it's veggies or something in there. That's a slower food. You've got to slice it. You've got to chew it. It's a higher quality food. You might spend time with other people eating that. Like one of my favorite dinners with my wife. We love getting a steak dinner together, and it's a chance for us to sit down and eat the food, be with each other, have conversation, that sort of thing. And again, after the meal is over, think about how you feel after a good steak dinner or whatever type of food you prefer. That's like a good wholesome meal. Think about how you feel afterwards. You feel good. It's like, man, that was a good meal. You know what? I could go for that again. We should definitely do that again. You don't feel that way about potato chips. Potato chips, most of the time, we're like, man, I shouldn't be eating this, but whatever. They're really salty and they're crunchy, so I'm going to keep eating them, and I'm going to hate myself afterwards, but whatever, I'm addicted. So, that whole thing. So understand, potato chips and steak, right? Those two different experiences. One is much faster, it's quick. One's a little bit slower, right? Slower, but it's a better meal. You feel full afterwards. You feel good about it. Now, compare short form and long form content. When I'm saying short form, I'm talking about these short 30-second, 60-second videos where they're like, boom, 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 boom. Everything's like coming at you at different angles. There's colors everywhere. Shit's popping up because you got ADHD and, again, your attention span's been destroyed. So again, when you see that content come up, understand something about the experience and the way it's been engineered, just like the potato chips. The experience of those short form apps when you're scrolling has been engineered to such a way that it is there for one thing and one thing only, bro. To get you to do this for hours and hours. Just keep scrolling. I mean, God bless. I was at the airport and I kind of like watch people, and it's literally like watching Night of the Living Dead, but with the phones. Everybody's walking around scrolling, and then they sit down and you're just this the whole time. It's crazy. I'm like, just pick up a book. Anyway, so that's the whole thing, because again, they're selling your eyeballs. So as long as you're on the app scrolling, they're selling your eyeballs. That's what they want, right? And they don't care about you. If they found for some reason that people were like watching these short form videos and that they were stopping and getting off the app, they would not keep pushing the short form videos, right? Because they're like, oh God, they're getting off the app. Push something else is going to keep them going. But they push the videos because they know that the videos keep you on there. You'll get into the doom scroll, right? And think about how you feel after a good doom scroll. Right? You spend 20, 40 minutes, an hour just doing this. Think about how you feel afterwards. You probably don't feel too good. You're like, man, I just wasted a whole hour. I could have been doing something useful, like a million other things. And even think about the environment for a second, right? Because, I'll get on Instagram. I install it on my phone periodically through the day to use. But if I find myself into a scrolling session, think about what that's like. Okay, maybe I come across a good technique. This is my scroll. I come across a good technique. Okay, oh, that's really neat, cool. And then all of a sudden, it moves me. Even if I don't want it to move, it'll just get me on the conveyor belt. Oh, there's some adorable little cats, right? So now the technique, that's gone out of my brain. Now it's adorable cats. Oh, that's really cool. And then all of a sudden, oh, there's some mean political thing. Now I'm angry. I'm going to go comment. I don't comment. But, it's going to show you something that's like fear porn or something angry politically. Oh, we're mad about Trump or Biden. And then it's some scantily clad woman trying to sell you her OnlyFans page, right? Could you imagine for a second, Brennan, if you were here in the mats with me trying to train or with your coach, and like right in the middle, your coach is trying to show you like a really good technical detail on armbar, but then over there's some puppies. And then over there's some guys arguing with each other about like politics. And then over there's some like half-naked woman trying to sell her OnlyFans account to you. Do you think you'd be able to learn jiu-jitsu in that manner? I don't think you would. Hell, I couldn't. I'd be distracted. Well, that's kind of what you're trying to do when you're scrolling all day long, right? And again, I can't stress this enough. When you think about the experience, it's just like junk food, right? When they did, I think it was the whistleblower from Facebook, she was talking about how they were trying to get the apps to be a little bit more positive for young people, for young teens. So they made a couple changes to help improve their mental health, right? Because they show it's not good for them. So they're trying to make some changes. And they found that they made these changes and it moved the needle in a positive direction for their mental health. But it lowered engagement, meaning people getting off the damn app, by 1%. So they were saying, nope, not doing this. Screw your mental health. We got money to make. We got eyeballs to sell. So this is what you're dealing with, right? You're dealing with incredibly intelligent people doing nothing but trying to figure out how we can get you to suck you into this thing and just do this all day long, right? So that's why I say I don't even mess with it, because not only can I get a couple of good details from Instagram, of course, there's some details I pick up. Oh, that's kind of interesting. But I don't want to spend too much time on the app. And honestly, I keep it deleted on my phone until I'm ready to get on there and do my work. And I delete it off my phone as soon as I'm done. I don't want to scroll. I want to be with my wife, my kid, my family. I want to be doing stuff. If I've got extra time, I'll read a book. I'll go outside and work on our garden. I'll go do something that I find really cool. And that like afterwards, I'm like, damn, I feel good. Right? Great book to read, by the way, is Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. Good book. If you don't already if you have any inkling of like, you want to like stop this kind of stuff, to read the book. It's a good book. Now, let's go to long form content, because I just got done crapping all over that stuff. Think about your long form content. I've got a ton from things like instructional videos. I still get them to this day because I'm like, ooh, like I might get on Instagram, I might see someone show something or in a match, and you know what I do? I go buy their instructional. Right? I bought all kinds of people's instructionals because I love looking at people go down the rabbit hole and explain things, and they have time. They're not in this like mad dash, because I don't even like playing the short form content game. I haven't made a short form content for a long time now because I just don't want to play that game. If you can't watch for a couple minutes, then just don't, I'm not even going to bother with you, right? But you get into it, you can actually listen to someone explain the technique versus like, okay, let me go really quickly and we got to cut all these edits out here just to keep you attached or keep you interested. I want people to be able to like take your time, give me the goods, right? Show me all the little details. I'm ready to learn. And that's the kind of environment that I would rather be in. And I'm sure maybe many of you guys have also gotten a lot from instructionals. But you can also think about books, long form podcasts, even YouTube videos that are, like this one, we're getting close to 10 minutes, right? When you listen to it, you're there with that thing and only that thing. You're not everywhere else. Focused on something. It's a better experience, right? And this is why so many of us go into jiu-jitsu and we feel so good when we're training, because for that moment, we're not distracted by everything else. We're focused on this one thing and this one thing only. And so again, think about how you feel if you got done doom scrolling, right? Versus you got done spending 40 minutes of watching a really good instructional video, or 40 minutes with a really insightful podcast, or 40 minutes of reading a really entertaining or really useful book. That is a great experience, right? At least it is to me. And so my deal is with it, bro. Here's my idea with it. Don't waste your time trying to study it on Instagram or whatever else. If you find something you like, use it to spark you to go into the longer form, right? Stop scrolling. If you find something like, stop scrolling, whatever that move is, go try to learn more about it. If that person's got an instructional, buy their instructional. If, whatever. Just go in the long form area, right? If they've got matches, get on Flow and watch their matches. And again, if you want to make better use of your time with your phone, delete the apps and add them only when you want to use them. Again, I use this for work. If I didn't have it for work, I wouldn't be on them at all, because at this point, like, I understand what's going on and I don't like it. So I use them a little bit for work, and that's it. So anyway, I'm starting to rant and ramble, which I do a little bit anyway. But that's the video, Brennan. Hopefully that helps you, brother. That'll maybe give you some ideas to chew on and steer you in other directions that might be a little bit more efficient as far as actually learning something. So talk to you guys next time.